What if I told you that the secret to transforming your health after 60 isn't about what you do, but about when you choose not to do it? Eleanor discovered this at 72, and it changed everything. She went from struggling through workouts that left her exhausted for days to becoming stronger, more energetic, and more vibrant than she'd been in decades. Her secret wasn't a new exercise program or supplement. It was learning to listen to a signal her body had been sending all along. You've been lied to about exercise, and it's literally killing your progress. Every fitness guru screams the same thing. Consistency is king. Never miss a day. Push through the pain, but your body sends you a crystal clear signal every single morning that reveals whether today should be your strongest workout or your gentlest recovery day. It's called heart rate variability, or HRV. And here's what blew my mind when I first discovered this scientific breakthrough. Your heart doesn't beat like a metronome. When you're healthy, resilient, and ready to tackle the world, the time between each heartbeat actually varies in tiny, measurable ways. These variations are so precise, they can predict your energy levels, injury risk, and even illness days before symptoms appear. But here's the kicker that changes everything for you. As someone over 60, most people are completely ignoring this internal wisdom, and it's destroying their health in ways they never imagined. Most seniors are systematically destroying their health by following rigid exercise schedules that ignore their body's daily fluctuations. Monday equals cardio. Wednesday equals weights. Friday equals yoga. Your cardiovascular system doesn't care what day of the week it is. And your nervous system certainly doesn't operate on a calendar. Think about this for a moment. You wouldn't drive your car the same aggressive way, whether the engine was ice cold or perfectly warmed up, whether you had fresh oil or desperately needed a change. Yet we treat our bodies like mechanical machines that should perform identically every single day, regardless of stress levels, sleep quality, or recovery status. Dr. Sarah Chen from Stanford's Longevity Institute discovered something that should terrify anyone over 50. We're teaching people to completely ignore the one biomarker that could prevent 70% of exercise-related injuries in seniors. Think about that number. 7 out of 10 injuries could be prevented simply by paying attention to what your body is desperately trying to tell you. The consequences are devastating. Seniors push through workouts when their nervous systems are already overwhelmed, creating a cascade of problems that compound over time. But what if there was a way to know? Each morning, before you even get dressed, exactly how hard to push yourself that day. Enter heart rate variability monitoring. And before you think this requires expensive medical equipment or complicated procedures, let me stop you right there. Your smartphone can measure this with shocking accuracy. Many fitness trackers you probably already own can track this data. There are $30 devices available today that provide more precise readings than hospital equipment from just 10 years ago. Here's the fascinating science behind how this works. When your nervous system is fully recovered and ready for action, your heart rate varies significantly between beats. This variability indicates that your parasympathetic nervous system, your body's rest and recovery mode, is functioning optimally when you're stressed, overtrained, fighting off illness, or simply need more recovery time. Those natural variations decrease dramatically. Your heart starts beating in a more rigid, mechanical pattern. Margaret, a 68-year-old retired teacher from Phoenix, started checking her HRV every morning before getting out of bed. High variability meant her body was ready for a full workout. Low variability meant gentle movement, stretching, or complete rest. Within weeks, she noticed something remarkable. She went from dreading exercise and feeling guilty about skipping workouts to trusting her body completely and actually looking forward to movement. But here's where this discovery gets absolutely mind-blowing. And this study will change how you think about exercise forever. Researchers conducted a groundbreaking 12-month study following 200 seniors doing identical workout programs. Half followed rigid, predetermined schedules, regardless of how they felt. The other half used HRV readings to guide their daily exercise intensity. Same exercises, same time. Commitment, same facilities, same trainers. The only difference was whether they listened to their body's internal guidance system. The results were so dramatic that the research team initially thought there had been a measurement error. The HRV-guided group gained 54% more strength than the rigid schedule group. 54%. But strength gains were just the beginning of this remarkable transformation. The HRV group experienced 73% fewer exercise-related injuries, significantly better sleep quality, improved mood stability throughout the day, higher sustained energy levels, and remarkably, better relationships with family members because they weren't constantly exhausted and irritable. Dr. Chen explained the profound implications. We weren't just changing when participants exercised. We were teaching them to communicate directly with their own nervous system, to work in harmony with their biology instead of fighting against it. The participants weren't just getting fitter, they were developing a completely new relationship with their bodies based on trust and communication rather than force and punishment. And that's when the most remarkable transformations began happening. Stories that will give you chills. Meet Robert, a 71-year-old grandfather whose HRV readings were consistently low for months. His body was screaming for rest and recovery that he never allowed himself. He'd been pushing through workouts, feeling exhausted, but believing that was normal for his age. 3 months after learning to interpret and respect these daily signals, something extraordinary happened during his regular checkup. His doctor, reviewing his blood work and vital signs, asked what new medication he'd started. Robert's blood pressure had normalized, his resting heart rate had improved, and his inflammatory markers had dropped significantly. Robert smiled and replied that he hadn't started any new medication. Instead, he'd learned when to stop pushing and start listening. 6 months later, Robert was hiking mountain trails with his grandchildren, something he'd assumed was forever behind him. His chronic fatigue had disappeared completely. His marriage improved dramatically because he was no longer constantly exhausted and short-tempered. Most importantly, he'd rediscovered the joy of movement instead of viewing exercise as a punishment his aging body had to endure. Sarah, a 69-year-old artist, discovered an even more profound benefit. Her HRV readings detected cardiovascular stress that her body was experiencing days before she felt any symptoms. This early warning system allowed her to seek medical attention and prevent what doctors later confirmed could have been a major cardiac event. Her heart had been trying to communicate with her for weeks through these subtle variations, and she'd finally learned the language. These aren't isolated success stories. Thousands of seniors are discovering that this simple daily practice transforms not just their fitness, but their entire relationship with aging, health, and vitality. You don't need to invest in expensive equipment or complicated programs to start this transformation tomorrow morning. Download a free HRV app like HRV for Training or Elite HRV onto your smartphone. Take a simple 2-minute reading first thing each morning, before you get out of bed, before you check your phone, before your mind starts racing with the day's demands. High variability means your body is sending you a green light signal, saying, "Let's go. I'm ready for whatever you want to throw at me today." Low variability means your body is sending you a yellow or red light, saying, "Let's take it easy today. I need gentleness and recovery to serve you better tomorrow." This isn't about becoming obsessed with numbers or data. This is about developing a daily conversation with the wisest, most intuitive part of yourself. Your heart has been trying to guide you toward optimal health and vitality your entire life. Most of us just never learned how to listen to its profound wisdom. Eleanor, the woman you met at the beginning of this story, now starts every day by checking in with her body's intelligence. At 74, she's stronger, more energetic, and more confident in her physical abilities than she was at 60. She didn't discover some miracle cure or revolutionary exercise program. She simply learned to trust the signals her body had been sending all along, and that trust transformed everything about how she experiences life.